Alors, nous allons procéder avec la période de questions telle qu'indiquée sur notre site Internet et diffusée à travers nos différents modes de communication. Les questions ont été reçues par Internet vendredi dernier. Donc, la première question vient de Mme Sophie Paré, et je cite, « Good evening, could you please elaborate as to the direction received or whether the city's pools, such as Briarwood, Valleycrest, PPK, will be permitted to open for the summer of 2020. These are vital institutions for many children of the borough and also greatly appreciated by many during heat waves. Are borough councillors making representations to relevant governments to ensure these pools can open with certain limitations, surely, for this coming summer? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question, Madame Paré. As you know, we are very close to our community organizations in Pierrefonds-Roxborough. We understand the need for all these organizations, whether they are pools, sporting, cultural, or leisure organizations, to provide the necessary services to our community. We know that the pools are a vital part as well within our community and have become really a cornerstone for many families that live in the immediate areas. We tonight will be passing resolutions that will give them at least the funding that is required, at least to prepare in the eventuality that the pools are permitted to open as outlined by the government health officials. We, as a governing body here at the borough, can only follow the clear and safe directives of the government. And should there be a moment where that is announced that pools may open, we are taking a proactive approach this evening by passing these resolutions to allow for the pool administrations to have the necessary funding and to be able to open, of course, following the directives and the measures that are outlined by the provincial government in terms of social distancing, number of people on deck, people that are allowed in the pool or on the premises at one time. And so this is something we're monitoring closely with our services, and hopefully, if all of this is acceptable and the government is able to pass at least a directive that will allow for our pools to open, we will support them in every way that we can.
Merci. Madame Ginette Lafleur, dans la perspective d'un déconfinement des gens plus vulnérables, est-ce que vous avez étudié la possibilité d'offrir, distribuer un masque de protection aux aînés de l'arrondissement qui sont à domicile depuis le 15 avril et qui craignent un retour en société? Pour éviter tout débordement, un ramassage pourrait être fait à partir de l'hôtel de ville par une personne qui identifierait nom, âge et adresse de l'utilisateur, utilisatrice du masque. C'est une suggestion.
Merci beaucoup pour la suggestion et la question. Effectivement, on n'a pas nécessairement le pouvoir d'aller distribuer des masques parce qu'il faut comprendre très bien que les masques de protection ils sont faits pour les gens qui travaillent dans les hôpitaux et dans le milieu de santé. Qu'est-ce qu'on a fait par contre? C'est que j'ai demandé à la Ville de Montréal et j'ai demandé au CIUS de l'ouest de l'île pour nous aider et nous donner des masques qu'on peut au moins offrir à notre population, surtout vulnérable. Il faut comprendre très bien que les masques, même si le CIUS et la Ville de Montréal décident de nous donner des masques, s'ils sont disponibles, les masques qui sont pour protéger, ils sont là pour protéger l'utilisateur, protéger les autres et pas nécessairement la personne qui porte le masque. Mais on a décidé d'être proactif à l'arrondissement. On a des poches dans la communauté. Ça peut être des gens aînés, ça peut être des gens qui demeurent dans des édifices très densifiés. Et nous, on avait pensé d'aller chercher des masques pour la population qui sont vraiment en besoin dans ces cas-là. On n'a pas de réponse ce soir pour vous dire qu'on a des masques disponibles pour la population, mais comme on suit les directives du gouvernement, On demande aux gens de penser à eux-mêmes et de faire le nécessaire pour protéger les gens qui sont autour d'eux. Merci.
Monsieur Gilles Boileau, dans cette période de déconfinement, serait-il possible d'ouvrir partiellement les bibliothèques à certains arrondissements? Nous pourrions commander des livres en ligne et une fois arrivés, aller les chercher et faire notre opération de réservation comme d'habitude. Les entrées et sorties pourraient être contrôlées comme les commerces, ce qui nous permettrait de se changer les idées grâce à la lecture.
Merci Boileau, merci Monsieur Boileau, merci beaucoup. Le réseau des bibliothèques de Montréal est en train d'étudier le plan de déconfinement graduel des bibliothèques. Toutes les bibliothèques du réseau sont présentement fermées car nous n'avons pas eu l'aval de la Direction générale de la santé publique pour une réouverture à ce jour. Le plan de déconfinement des bibliothèques prévoit effectivement un retour graduel des services aux usagers tels que le retour de documents et les réservations. Mais tant que la Direction générale de la santé publique ne nous en donne pas l'autorisation, nous devons rester fermés. Toutes les bibliothèques, par contre, du réseau suivent les recommandations et elles ouvriront toutes graduellement selon un plan de déconfinement établi. L'autre chose que je voulais dire, la bibliothèque de Pierrefonds-Roxboro présentement offre quelques services et je vous encourage, M. Boileau, d'aller sur le site web et vérifier sur le site ou l'annexe de la bibliothèque de vérifier les services offerts à ce jour.
Madame Megan Walsh, is there any animal patrol in parks? I live near Yule Park and on a very regular basis see people with dogs off leash. This is very irresponsible in normal times, but considering the current pandemic, it's amplified. I keep seeing it, people keep doing it and getting away with it. Thank you. I am otherwise a very happy and proud citizen of Pierrefonds and a big advocate for Pierrefonds Living and its excellent services.
Thank you very much for the question. In fact, there is an animal patrol. However, not being an essential service at the moment, that hasn't taken effect in all our communities throughout the island of Montreal, particularly the boroughs. We are expecting this service to be reinitiated come the end of the month. We have taken note of the issues at Yule Park, and we have addressed them to the proper authorities. We will make sure to follow this very closely, and we would ask you that if there is a situation with stray dogs in an area, there are parks that council here decided years ago that we will allow folks to walk with their animals provided they were on leashes. There is no park, except for the dog parks that we have in strategic locations in our community, that people can leave their dogs without a leash. In a park like Yule, it is not permitted. And so we would ask you, in the worst case scenario, to call 311 should you be faced with this situation again. However, we have sent that information, and once the patrollers are back out on the road, we will make sure that we will not only address this park, but all the other parks in our community as well.
Monsieur James Bond, regarding the springtime flooding freshet, do you have current information on the watershed, snowpack, and the risk of flooding this year? Please share this information.
Thank you, Mr. Bond, for the question. In fact, as I mentioned in my opening statement, we are monitoring the water levels very closely, as is civil security, and all the partners that are monitoring as well the waterway system all the way from the north downriver. We've been told that the basins in the north still have room available to them for the water melt that you have in the snow, in the snow that's still left, the ice shelf that's left in the north. However, even though we've seen a significant drop in the last week, for the last few days, we've seen a slow increase in water levels. We still are vigilant. We are not sure, of course, what the outcome will be. We're in our second phase of rising water levels. There's usually 2 phases through every season, and we're now within the second one. We have approximately, I would say, a good week before we can finally say that the water will recede and will be completely out of danger, and we'll start the removal of all the measures that we have throughout our territory. But right now, we're remaining vigilant. The water level is still well below the minimal threshold, and we're hoping that it stays at this level, and the temperature being what it is for the next week with the cold nights and warmer days, we suspect that it'll be a slower flow and not allow for the rising of the river as we've seen in the past. So we're hopeful, we're keeping our fingers crossed, but we're still staying vigilant to make sure that we don't affect any of our neighboring communities.
Et la dernière question vient de Madame Martha Band. Concerning item 40.03 to adopt the first bylaw, the first draft resolution, PP 2018-004-1 at 4700 Saint-Jean Boulevard, what is the reason the council is removing the condition M demanding a convex front facade? Where is building, and is the change subject to register or referendum?
Thank you, Mrs. Bond, for the question. The architectural design change is not subject to referendum approval procedure. It will, however, be presented should this crisis end in a reasonable amount of time at a later date through a public consultation. The reasoning behind council deciding to create a flat facade, it's the Porsche dealership that we're talking about on St. John's. And the reason that is because after the construction had started with the concave facade, the Porsche head office in Germany refused that design, stating that it was not in their marketing plans to build dealerships that were in this design process in the future. And being caught with a situation where a flat facade would still be in line with the other businesses and car dealerships on St. John's, a decision was taken by council to at least allow for the flat facade to be built on that property, making certain that it met all the requirements and, of course, allowing them to be able to continue since the structure has already started to go up. But like I mentioned before, the architectural design change is not subject to referendum approval. However, we will, at some point, be able to hopefully go through public consultation for this.